Well, last week we took you to Dewdney Avenue, specifically the area impacted by some significant construction over the past couple of years. Some businesses expressed concerns that they're not receiving enough support. Others said they think they'll be okay and are looking forward to the project being completed. Meanwhile, the Regina Red Sox have new ownership and promoted putting a stadium in the area around Dewdney Avenue in the past. And City Council met for the final time before a summer break. And to dive into all of this, we're joined by Mayor Chad Bachynski. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
So, Mayor, since we last spoke, I mentioned the Red Sox. They now have new owners, taken over by the group that owns the Pats as well, by Sean Semple. They've talked about reviving a new baseball stadium. I know this isn't the first time you've heard this. This won't be new to you. What do you think of the idea overall?
Yeah, for me, I look at it at a high level and it's exciting to see interest. I think it speaks to the positive momentum in the city. So I think it's great that there is interest. And, from my perspective, I want to make sure that the city is doing its part to, make sure that we understand who all is interested in, different areas in the city that would bring more vibrancy and opportunity for the city.
I know Sean Semple mentioned during his news conference that he's willing to invest in a proposed stadium. He's not looking to make the city, quote, do it all. Is the stadium a priority in your mind for council? I know there's a lot of major projects on the list that council has. You've inherited some of them, and others that have been brought up to you, I know, over the last few months.
Yeah, I'd say for me, the way I look at it as, the priority, we have core infrastructure that needs to be put in place. Does a private investor coming forward make us, kind of take a look and see if the city's not on the hook for it? Well, we need to understand what exactly that means. There's capital investment, but there's also operational costs that could be involved as well. So it's a complex kind of calculation to figure out to see where that would lie. But we would, obviously, if someone's willing to invest, we want to hear that. We want to make sure we're seeing if there is a possibility to add another, vibrant attraction to the city.
Is this pretty early stages for you, or have there been any discussions about this?
Very early stages. My understanding is the city saw the proposal at the same time that everybody else did. So.
And I know the team commissioned a study looking at whether there's support for this. What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, and my understanding is that was something that was asked for by previous council, so it just happened to come forward around this time as well. So, yeah, I mean, we'll review that and understand it, but again. My biggest thing is making sure that we go through a proper process to understand all of the interested parties in different areas of the city, and specifically when we talk about the yards, I know that was mentioned in there. We got to make sure we understand who is all looking at that space.
And speaking of the rail yards on Dewdney, for folks that aren't familiar, it's kind of a strip of businesses, bars in the past, and there's a bit of an empty space now. There's construction being done on Dewdney and in that area. Do you have ideas or thoughts on what you'd like to see there?
You know, for me, it's actually about listening. So we have a number of businesses that are, really working through a challenging time with the construction going on Dewdney right now. That ultimately will lead to an amazing space for Dewdney and for those businesses. And I was actually just down at the warehouse district there. There's a regular meeting conducted with the construction crews and the businesses in the city, and talked about some of the challenges. What can we do, like in the moment, to kind of help work through that? But that's what we need to listen to. We need to hear what is going to be complementary in that space to support and to complement those businesses that are there today on Dewdney.
And some of the businesses expressed some frustration to us that, they pointed to Costco. I know we've gone over that the city is helping Costco out where they're struggling over the last couple of years because of construction. And this obviously predates you as well. But was there any discussion about what could be done for the businesses there? Any creative ideas in the meantime, given that there has been some significant disruptions over the last more than a year, really?
Yeah, and I understand the frustration, and I think there's some really productive dialogue happening with the businesses and the construction company that's working on this and the city. Thinking of different ways to do timing. When we have to shut off water to do tie-ins, what is the best time to do that? So I heard that yesterday. Maybe we need to adjust the timing to do, to create less impact to businesses. So there's things that we're doing there to try and listen and adjust on the fly to make sure that we're trying to impact as least as possible and complete the work as quick as possible.
Last week we saw a homeless encampment taken down in the city. A couple of years ago, there was an encampment on a city hall grounds, as you know. Uh, what is the latest on the city's plan to address this if it comes up this summer?
Yeah, and there is a plan on how this proceeds. I mean, the specific encampment that was decommissioned was related to a request from a private landowner, and so we have to act on that, recognizing that we don't have enough supports and enough space in the city to support folks who may not have another place to go otherwise. So part of it is working back with the province to understand what supports can we get from them, but also recognizing that right now we are working on the backs of many community organizations, and that's a lot, and they don't have a lot of resources. So we haven't solved this yet. There's lots of work to do to understand how we do this, but ultimately, in my mind, we need support to put in place a place for folks to go. We need supportive housing. We need supportive shelters. And we need shelters and homes and spaces for people to go that actually have the supports that people need to be successful.
Yeah, last night I mentioned it was the last council meeting before the break. What can you tell us about the highlights from last night for our listeners?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me is around development and housing. We're looking to front end critical infrastructure that we need, in terms of lift stations and that to be able to unlock the ability to service land that otherwise, we wouldn't be able to under the current model. So ultimately, the city would be paid back entirely with interest, and but we're front ending it using the municipal loan power, the financing power that we have as a municipality to help developers get going, and then we'll ultimately reclaim the money for that through the development charges in whole. So it's exciting because an area like Coopertown that's been not developed for a long time, we're now going to see that happen. That's a commitment from the developer now with this new policy. So I'm excited to see that happen.
And Mayor, we're talking about summer, and I mentioned earlier the big book sale on Broad Street at the Highland Curling Club lined up down the street yesterday for people. There's tons of summer events in the city. What are some that you're looking forward to?
So for me, I'd highlight, we know Country Thunder is a big draw for residents of Regina to head out to every year. And then really exciting is QCX. I'm really excited to see how that comes to fruition this year with a new provider. That sounds very exciting. And lastly, and most importantly, I Love Regina Day on August 23rd.
Mayor, have a great summer. Hopefully, we'll catch up with you during the summer months as well. And thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Adam.